My name's Daniel Cutler, chef, co-owner of Ronan restaurant right outside of West Hollywood. Pizzeria. I'm here because my wife, myself, and our cousin Brandon, who's also a producer for Dinner Time Live, did a pizza challenge cook-off for Recipe Club. I won the Recipe Club challenge. My wife just said it was like, would it be a cliche if like the guy who makes pizza all the time wins the pizza recipe night? And I don't think it's a cliche. I think it was well deserved. Today we'll be making the winning pizza, which was a pan pizza, completely lined with a cheese crust instead of like a focaccia, like crispy bread crust. We decided to go in the direction of a cheese crust to make it like a little bit more unique. Honestly, I just wanted to pull out all the stops to win. And that was, my wife is very competitive, so I think she needed to be humbled just a little bit. So first, we're gonna go ahead and make the dough. I always use a scale. This is a recipe from Serious Eats for Greek-style pizza. I don't really know what Greek-style pizza is, but I wanted to go with like a simple dough recipe that anybody could make at home, basically with like instant yeast, bread flour you could get at the supermarket, salt and olive oil is basically all that's going in there. So we keep the dough simple, and that's kind of in line with what we do at Ronan also. We use 100% sourdough starter and natural yeast there for all of the pizza and all of the bread, and I think the flavor is better, but it's a huge thing to tackle, like as a home cook. Feeding the starter every day and keeping it alive and knowing what percentages to use of that stuff. So I thought it was just an easier thing all around to go for instant yeast, which is accessible and super easy to use. So we have our bread flour, we have our scale, we have yeast, we have olive oil, and we're gonna need water. I use cold water. I know a lot of recipes are like, use room temperature water, temp out your water, do this, do that. I just feel like it's easier if it's cold. This is super easy also because you're gonna set it up the night before you're making your pizza. And you just kind of mix it and let it sit overnight. I made another batch of it last night, so it's gonna look something like this afterwards. But there's no like folding, there's no mixing. There's mixing, but it's not an excessive amount of mixing. So we're just gonna take grams, 400 grams. I think in the recipe it's like 2.5 cups or something if you don't have a scale, but I would recommend getting a scale, not just for this, but for taking any kind of recipe up to, oh wow, 400 right on the dot. That's good. It's just more precise. This is our instant yeast. I don't really know what the difference between instant and active dry yeast is, but this recipe called for instant yeast. Instant sounded easier, so I said instant is good. So it's 4 grams of yeast. We try to be like precise kind of in every aspect of everything, as precise as we can be, but if you have measuring cups and you don't have a scale, it's fine. I would say like easy. And then there's no weight for the olive oil. It just said 2 tablespoons. So I'm just gonna like guess 2 tablespoons. And then salt. There's 8 grams of salt. So we're at 438, so that's gonna be 446. It's also interesting that everything goes in all at once. For the sourdough bread, it's like you have to wait until kind of after the sourdough has like had a chance to like get into the flour and the water and like kind of hydrate it, and then you add the salt because like it can the salt can kill it. But this is great because you just put everything in all at once. And it's 260 grams of water. And then I'm just gonna put a glove on to mix this. You don't have to do that, but I just think it's cleaner and nicer, and I'm not trying to gunk up my garbage disposal with pizza dough. And you just kind of like, I do this like squeezing method because it kind of just gets everything incorporated. Rotate the bowl, kind of like pretend you're a mixer. You know what I mean? Like the bowl on the mixer rotates. And then if you just, you know, wipe down the sides a little bit, squeeze the dough. And then like once it feels like all the dry flour's done, that's it. And then we'll just give a little scrape down the side. If you don't have this tool, then that's totally, you don't need to do that at all either. And then you cover this with plastic wrap or a towel or whatever and just leave it. It doesn't need to be like set anywhere warm or cool or whatever. The instant yeast is kind of just gonna do its magic. And in about 12 or so hours, it will be looking like this. And then if you're using a towel, I did it once with a towel at home, and I noticed you get a little dry, like dry spots. So maybe in the morning, if you see that, just flip it over so you can kind of like moisten the bottom again. But plastic wrap is your friend. Okay, so there's that. For the tomato sauce, in the restaurant we use like those big number 10 cans that are like this much bigger. But obviously this is like what's available at the supermarket. So we're just gonna strain out a little bit of the water, because that'll be, like if you see like this water, it's like coming out. We usually will drain like a bunch of these cans at once in like a big hotel pan with a perforated pan. I'm just gonna leave that, this is too big. We'll just let that sit for a couple minutes. Maybe we'll work it a little bit. Another glove. But you can totally just like let this sit. But all this kind of like water part of it is going to make the pizza like too wet. And we do Neapolitan pizza at Ronan, so it's kind of like anything to get less moisture is helpful because of the fast cooking time. But like if you wanted to set this up overnight too, that would also be easy. Just put it in the strainer overnight. And the liquid's super useful too, so we'll take this liquid and reduce it to like a syrup kind of a thing. It's like an agrodolce, like tomato syrup. And tomatoes naturally have MSG in them, so it's a really good like flavor component. We put it in a clams dish, we put it in, sometimes we put it in salad dressings. We had an octopus on the dish on the menu for a while that had that liquid in the bottom of it. But this looks good. So it's like still saucy, but not super wet. And then that Serious Eats recipe online for the dough also has a sauce recipe, so if you have a sauce you want to buy, like if you have a sauce you want to make, if you have a sauce that you love, use that sauce. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to put some olive oil and salt in here. So probably about 8 grams of salt in there. And that's all ratioed down from, because the big can is like 75% bigger than this, so I just ratioed everything down. And then 46 grams of olive oil, so 54 total. A little extra olive oil didn't hurt. The restaurant, we do this in like a 22 quart bucket, like a big 5-gallon bucket. And we have a aluminum like paint mixer, a drill attachment that we do so that it's like a 2-second process. You just want to mix it until like the olive oil's incorporated enough. I'm gonna have like pools of olive oil. And then I'm gonna preheat this oven to, oh my God, this is a fancy oven. Let's do air sous vide, frozen meal, easy clean. Where's just like, there, convection bake, and we'll go up to 400. Cool. So we're gonna do kind of a version of a pizza we do at the restaurant called Spicy Chomper, which is like our pepperoni pizza. But we take the pepperoni or soppressata or whatever, you could literally use anything you want to use. But we use this like salami calabrese, not this brand, but it's a Canadian, I don't know, they call it salami calabrese. It's like a spicy thing. But you could make this with sausage, you could make this with mortadella, you could make it with prosciutto, you could make it with literally whatever you want. Really the important part is just getting that crispy cheese crust at the end. And then we grind the that is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. We grind it so that, like, you know, everybody wants more pepperoni, right? So it's ground, you cover the entire thing. That being said, if you don't have the craziest meat grinder in the world like this one, you can just put pepperoni on it. It's fine. Like, everybody does a pepperoni pizza.
I love it.
And we just wanted to, you still want to capture that kind of crowd, but if you can't, separate yourself a little bit, you know? Not that I'm not going to order a pepperoni pizza every time I see it anyway, but let's grate some, this is Pecorino Romano and Parmesan Reggiano, the good stuff. Always save this also at home, very important. It's good for soup, it's good for stew. It's like a little umami flavor bomb, that little extra rind that you think is like trash. It's not really trash, it's great. Let's use this. I also recently learned that you can cook this in the microwave, the rind, and it becomes like a cheese chip kind of a thing. Is there such a thing as too much cheese? Probably not.
No, not where I'm from.
And then I'm gonna make like a blend here, like 50-50, pecorino and Parmesan. And then we'll get like a the saltiness from the pecorino, and then the kind of nutty, more round flavor from the Parmesan. And at the restaurant we use 2 kinds of pecorino, so we use a Calabrese pecorino also. Not easy to find as a normal supermarket shopper. And then we have provolone, which we're going to use. Oh, this is a wonderful. And then this like kind of fresh mozzarella too. So as much cheese as we can get. And I like to kind of cut this in cubes. Cubes. Okay, got all our stuff here. Oven's still preheating, so maybe we'll start building this thing, and then once it's hot, we'll throw it in. So this just kind of like line the pan with this cheese. And what'll happen is it'll melt, but it'll also like release its moisture. So we're baking at a slightly lower temperature so that it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that it'll get crispy, because like cheese wants to get crispy once the moisture's kind of released. It gets, call it frico.
So oddly pretty from a bird's eye view. Like, there's more if you need it too.
No, I think this is good. I don't want to use too much because it's a little bit thicker.
Mm-hmm.
just. And then, not to promote another pizzeria, but sure. Apollonia's Pizzeria in Mid-City. They do these, I don't know how he does it, but it's like the cheese stays like up on the side of the pans, and it looks like a crown. He's like a mad scientist, Justin. He's crazy. Okay, now we're just gonna put the dough right into the cheese. Put a little oil in here. Nothing too crazy, just. And I think the thing I like most about this dough for this application is just it requires no folding or gluten development or anything crazy that like. I personally like to use a spoon for saucing. I know a lot of people are very kind of like ladle focused when it comes to making pizza. I don't love it. It's like a little bit less control. We're all about control here. Precision and control. Not too much sauce, because you don't want to weigh down the dough, because we're going to have so many other things, other toppings on there also. Maybe like half a cup, 3/4 of a cup, something like that. I like this pan. I might get one of these pans. Okay, then we have this mozzarella, which is like low moisture mozzarella. Just a little bit of this. Am I in the right spot here?
Yes, thank you.
We use a cheese in the restaurant called scamorza, which I think is literally just the same. It just means low moisture mozzarella in Italian. And then they have a smoked version that's kind of nice too. Some of this. Everywhere you go.
Oven's preheated.
It's preheated to 375 though. I think I said it. Wants to be at 375. Oh, and then this pan is like a non-stick pan, which I think is good. I use sometimes also this other pan that I have on top of this toaster oven. It's specifically for pan pizza. It's from a Chicago company called Lloyd's Pans, but not everybody has this pan, and it's like $60, so whatever nonstick pan I think you have is gonna work. The cheese blend here, and a few of these little cubes on top. Here goes nothing. We're gonna put that in the 400-degree oven for about, it'll probably be a total of like 25 minutes, but we'll check it after like 10 or 15. Rotate it maybe, just see where we're at. So it's been about 15 minutes and we'll take a look, See where we're at. I imagine it'll need another 10 to 15 or so. Because you want to get like, oh wow. Should I like pull it out a little bit? Can you see? Like
yeah.
over here?
Yeah. Do you want to try like I don't know for the cutting board?
Created this like cheesy outside layer kind of a thing. Maybe that's because the cheese was thick. But I think we're gonna kind of play it by ear here. I think it needs some more time. So I think we'll put it in probably for like another 10 or 15. Just so we want to start seeing like it really crispy around these kind of sides. So this oven is amazing, and we got, there we go. It's a very, very powerful oven. Look, cheese, just go around it this way. Took about 30 minutes at this 375 on this oven. Wouldn't go all the way up to 400. Also, the cheese was a little bit thicker, so if you use thinner cheese, you might cook it a little bit less, kind of like a give or take, 5 minutes in either direction. But just keep a look at it. It looks pretty good though. Okay, now the risky part. We're gonna get it out of the pan so that we can get like a little bit of like dry air on the outside of it. So let's see. This nonstick pan should be pretty easy to do it. It's sticky. Okay. Whew. That was stressful. All right, we got cheese. Crispy cheese. Now, as it cools, the cheese will solidify. Right now, it might seem like a little bit squishy, but as this cheese kind of cools down, it will get crunchy. All right, so we let this thing sit for about 10 minutes. We're gonna cut into it. So you don't want to burn the roof of your mouth. And we're gonna put some of this Momofuku chili crunch on there. You could put chili oil. You could put nothing if you want, but I think when we're here, might as well use what you got. I tend to like it spicy, so I think we'll really just go for it. All right. Let's see where we're at. Sounds crunchy. It's baked, and then you got this cheese crust kind of like all around. So that's what you're looking for. Should I eat it?
Yeah. Steamy.
Chili crunch is good. It's pretty good pizza. Once again, I'm Daniel Cutler from RONAN Restaurant. Try the spicy chomper at home. Get the crispy cheese crust. Check out Recipe Club. Bon appetit.